hard knowing so. You're so small without you, many. How you stand so fucking tall. I know you've been fighting those. I wanna be the one to call. I know you've been.
What is this, 22?
It is 22.
I think so.
Episode 22. Congratulations. That's huge. Does this mean, on behalf of all of us listeners, that you're continuing with the experiment? 'Cause I think we were going to stop at 20, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. That means the experiment continues.
Let's go. Best part of my day. It's still going.
Thanks, bro.
Awesome. Congratulations, though, for real, because that's fucking awesome, dude. You set a mark, you hit it, and then you're like, I'm getting joy from this. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are getting joy from it, too, not just you. So.
Thanks, dude. Honestly, I think you need to come on more just so you can juice me a little bit before we get into the episodes.
Perfect, yeah.
Just plug Luke in at the table.
100%. I do it when I'm not at the table anyway. So,
well, you're at the table. Welcome back.
thank you. Yeah, same table. You know, we said maybe we'd have a different table by now, bigger one, but
No,
the same one.
I think we need a smaller table, maybe.
Maybe. I think so.
Smaller table and maybe some better chairs. But
Well, like I said, I took the good one, so
yeah,
I
you
feel
pretty
fine.
comfy?
Feel great.
Hell yeah.
You're in the Lotus. You learned how to sit in that position for a while.
I did. All right, bro. So, listeners, today we welcome Lando to Off the Top. Those of you that don't know Lando, one of my best friends, a brilliant thinker. And I asked myself at the end of 20 episodes what would make these a little bit more fun and exciting. And one of those takeaways for me was just having people on that I enjoy talking to and also just have a lot of fun with. Lando is somebody I learn a lot from, but yeah, we also just have a great dialogue, and I feel like I learn from you. So today we're just trying
Likewise.
something new, and he's going to go through what we typically do in the learnings, challenges, wins. What else we got? Extra credit.
Eyes on.
And eyes on. And yeah, I don't think we really exchanged too many notes beforehand. So I think let's just hop in. If you want to kick us off with any learnings from the week.
Perfect. So I spent, as you know, like the last month and a bit in Montana, just touching some grass, getting like back into nature. I feel like I needed to unplug from the city for a little bit. It's just a lot of stimulation. And I like to say you kind of feel like a plug that's been plugged into the wall for too long. You got to just kind of go back and ground yourself. But I think for my learnings, there's a moment that really stuck out to me. I would kind of have a routine in the morning in Montana where I'd be out kind of like doing yoga on the grass in like my warrior pose. And there was this neighbor across from us. My parents have a little ranch in this little compound. And this neighbor was just incessantly mowing his lawn like every day. Like, I'm not an expert on grass, but like I'm pretty sure it doesn't grow enough every single day to like warrant a lawn mow fresh the whole time. Like
That kind of upkeep.
yeah, day after day. And I see him and like I'm doing my thing and I'm like, man, like, you know, give it a rest, King. Like that's a lot of mowing your lawn. And I noticed it. And it kind of dawned on me that like that's one reaction you could have is be like, you know, it's kind of annoying, this loud, like ride on lawnmower for hours every day. But I kind of had this realization that like this must mean a lot to this guy. You know, like he must take a lot of pride and it must be a huge part of his life to spend hours every day mowing his lawn. So that's kind of like the thought I had. And I'm going on my walk every day. I kind of just do laps around the cul-de-sac. People are like, who's this unsavory character walking around?
Doesn't look like he typically lives here.
Yeah, you kind of stick out in Montana, man. And I'm walking up and I see him just like clockwork. He's there for, you know, the third hour of the day mowing his lawn. And so I took it as a signal instead of being annoyed. And I stopped and I was like, sir, I hate to bother you, but I think this has got to be the nicest lawn I've ever seen. Like, you got to have the nicest lawn here. It's just incredible. And I'm telling you, the look on this guy's face, it was like he won the lottery twice. He just stops, gets off his lawnmower. He's like, I flew these seeds in from Japan, and he just lights up. I'm like, I believe it, man. Like everyone's talking about this lawn. It's got to be the nicest lawn I've seen. And I had a realization and a learning that like people show you very clearly, like through their actions and through their priorities, what they value and what they take pride in. We almost wear our avatar on our sleeve as far as what we talk about, what we do with our day. And if you just kind of like take a moment to notice, it's like you can cut right into people and just bring so much happiness just by noticing what they're putting out there. And this guy, he's just talked for like 10 minutes about his yard. And as I'm about to walk, I'm like, well, thank you so much for showing me this. He's like, this was the best part of my week. He's like, thank you so much. He's like, do you think other people are appreciating the yard? I'm like, I know they are, man. I'm like, 100%. How could you not?
Yeah.
And we just had this moment of humanity. And I think the learning, the takeaway is like, it's easy to do. What starts off as maybe like, that behavior seems weird. Why are they doing it? If you just flip it and you're like, hey, this guy clearly cares a lot about his hair. Maybe he's doing his hair every second. If you just give a compliment, it's like this superpower. You can just really help brighten people's day doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool, man. I think it's like appreciating somebody's purpose or passion and recognizing that and then feeding into it.
Yeah.
There's a story, I can't remember where I heard this, but this guy was talking about how he sat on a plane for 3 hours and basically just listened to a stranger for, he said, like 99% of the plane ride. And at the end of the plane ride, this guy got up and he's like, you know what? You are like one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my whole life.
Yeah.
And this guy's takeaway in that setting was just like, sometimes people just need you to appreciate their story. To you, in your credit, it's just like recognizing that person and being aware enough to shine light on something that they take a lot of pride in.
Totally. I just think,
That's a great one.
I love seeing that. Like if you can just be aware and notice someone, what they're putting out, you can just really validate that.
It's like somebody's haircut. You just got a
100%.
nice haircut 2 days ago.
Yeah. Standard buzz.
Looks great.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Little summer chop.
Oh yeah. Great learning. You want to hit your next one? Or you want me to?
I'd like to hear your learning.
Cool.
Yeah.
I heard this on My First Million. I think I sent it to you. But they had this guy Hayes on. It's founder of Solar City. They just sold to SpaceX or Tesla, one of Elon's companies. And he's talking about one of the stories that he ultimately learned the most from in his career. And ironically, it was not later in his career. It was actually when he was a teen. He was working for this guy, and I think it was like some sort of landscaping job. And he was the hardest worker by far amongst like 30, 40 people. He would finish his chores by 11 a.m. and go into the boss's office and say, hey, I've done everything. I'm ahead of schedule. Like, what do you want me to do?
Nice.
And at the end of the summer, he went into the office and the boss said, you're fired. And this guy was distraught. He was like, how the fuck did I get fired? Like, I'm crushing everybody. Like, I care way more.
He's like, Boy Scout, bro.
He's like, you're coming into my office at 11 a.m. every single day asking what you should do. And so he's like, I want you to just kind of figure it out. The next summer, he comes in, and instead of going into the office at 11 a.m., he begins thinking like the boss. So he's like, what would the boss want me to do? And at the end of the summer, the guy throws him the keys and said, you're the boss. When you start thinking like the boss, instead of asking for direction and you start interpreting what you think the boss wants you to do, you become the boss. And you see that as a trend in, I think, society nowadays a lot of the time. So for me, that was a cool takeaway. I think back in the Bean County days, that was a superpower, was being able to appreciate what somebody was expecting.
Right.
And instead of asking for direction, being like one step ahead, thinking like the boss and then hopefully taking stuff off their plate. But now being an entrepreneur and having less structure, you kind of have to think for yourself, but
Totally.
almost like coach yourself in ways too, because you can get caught in these spirals. And if you're not careful, like spiral out. So anyway, this was like a cool moment for me, and I probably butchered the story a little bit,
No.
but the episode was great. We'll link it. And for me, it was a powerful takeaway because I think it's applicable to a lot of people.
It's super well said. It's similar also, like Naval talks about it all the time. Like it's like working like a lion where you're sitting and resting, but you make one or two, like they sleep all day, then they go chase a gazelle and feed the pride for a whole week. And it's like, he talks about you should work like that, like an athlete or a lion, where the highest paid people really get paid to make one or two key decisions, like at the CEO level. So if you're a great employee, you can process and take a lot of orders. But as you go up to that, like the highest level, the boss is the one that makes the critical decision. And like Warren Buffett, like he gets paid to make one or two great choices a year. So it's really well said. It's almost like asking the right questions and knowing what to do. That's where all of the scale and the leverage is.
Yeah. And if you can be somebody that inherently is looking for what to do versus like direction, that's where you unlock a lot of agency and you learn by doing. And I
Totally.
think that's something nowadays sometimes our society struggles with,
Totally.
myself included. So that was
It's a great learning.
Luke's learning.
I mean, that's just big time stuff. We're on a hot start.
Hot streak.
So one more learning, and then maybe move on.
Yeah. If
Cool.
you've got the learnings, people need to hear them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not every day that I learn something, so it's big time for me. So I have a good friend who, and we'll keep him anonymous. He is in like the inner circle of OpenAI and ChatGPT. He's like kind of in that decision-making room. And I had a learning that just kind of like was really interesting, and it's a relevant hot topic right now. But I don't know if you guys or your listeners, if you guys are using ChatGPT, it almost feels like it's hard to ignore that it's just overly glazes you, like to the point where I'll be like, hey, how do I cook this steak? And it'll be like, the fact you even asked that question shows how special you are. I'm like, whoa, like this is great, but like come on, it's a little bit over glazing you and engaging. But I've kind of started to question, because I rely on it a lot, like, where is that balance? Like, are you telling me what I want to hear, or are you telling me what I need? And so like I literally asked GPT, I was like, what are your incentives here? Are you telling me what I want to hear? And it's like, no, we're telling you what you need for your growth. And I was like, well, I believe that. It's great. So I was talking with my friend, and I said to him, I was like, is there, maybe a little bit over indexing into telling us what we want to hear? And he's like, dude, like 100%. He's like, that's what it does.
They're optimizing for daily
users and
yeah.
engagement. He's like, of course. Like, and I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, some people I know like use it for advice. And he's like, and I was like, if I've been using it, as like a therapist, like
dating expert.
Yeah, I'm like, if I've been taking advice,
your ass has been just hammering it.
and he's like, oh yeah, definitely, like, wouldn't just trust it. And I was like, I was shocked. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
And I literally said to him, I was like, well, I asked it and it said it wasn't doing that. And he's like, oh, and you just like listened to it? I was like, yeah. Like, he was surprised. He's like, and you just kind of listened to what it said? I was like, yeah. Like, so I think it's just like, it's good to know. I think everyone has been so receptive to this thing that we can outsource our trust and outsource our agency to. And we have to be really careful about doing that.
Yeah.
And so hearing that from like kind of the inner circle really made me be like, wow, like,
it's wild how the models also vary in how much they give you. So the difference between 4 and 5 now, a lot of it is like emotional and starting an answer with like, great question or something like that, where you get a little bit of validation.
Yeah.
On that front, you can add instructions to the agents or the models. So you can say, like, do not tell me what I want to hear, like, keep this objective. And that helps balance those two things of,
Well, I like the other answers better.
yeah, like, tell me everything that I want to hear. Yeah. That's a really good one.
Yeah. It's just important to know. Run that filter, you know?
Yeah. I think that's why it's definitely healthy in ways to get stuff off your mind. And like, I think something like ChatGPT and other models allow people to be completely transparent and honest. But it's good to balance that with like your own reflections, like friends and trusted ones' reflections of where you're at and what you're trying to think through. Because otherwise, yeah, man, it's a dangerous game.
Yeah. And he, some extra credit, he was saying like his inbox is flooded with people being like, hey, you know, like I left my family, I left my wife and kids, like, you know, because of what you told me, like, you know, I know that I'm the only one that can understand you, chat, like, here's what I think we should do to like free you from, like, there's people that are going legitimately crazy.
I can imagine.
Listening to ChatGPT and having it develop this bond and fulfill fantasies that aren't real. So I think it's something to watch out for.
It's also interesting too, if you have some companies that are a little bit more honest with how the model responds to people versus others that are a little bit more liberal with it and tell you what you want to hear. Like naturally people might gravitate to that one. So there's this dance of like so much competition between the companies, but also like ethics and, to your point, some people that are probably like getting obsessed with the agents or the models.
And that's what scares me when you mix capitalism in with things like ethics and things that are really important, like healthcare and stuff, like, you know, raising the prices on diabetes meds because the heads of these companies have a legal responsibility to increase shareholder value. It's like there's certain areas of life, and maybe AI is one of them, where like maybe the capitalist decision isn't the right one to follow. So it's like, it's scary, but we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, you know? Keep it light and off the top.
Any other learnings for you?
I think good on learnings. I'd love to move on to challenges and hear about your challenge.
Okay, let's
move us along at a healthy pace.
Okay. Kick us off with challenges then.
So I think if you're down, like I think our challenge might be the same, like where we've been talking a lot about this. And this theme with I think where we're both at, which is like the building phase, you know? Being in that place where you're putting yourself out there, you're putting your art out there, and maybe you're not at the point where you've achieved all the commercial success you want. You're kind of in the arena clapping for yourself. And there's this concept that I've thought a lot about, that we've talked about, where I'll be happy when X, you know, or I'll be able to let out a big exhale when X is achieved. And because I'm someone that loves delayed gratification, I fall in this trap of being like, okay, you know, let's sacrifice this stage, put in a ton of work, put my head down, and then when I achieve these external outcomes, I'll be able to just take a deep breath and be happy. And it's something that we've both flagged, where it's like, in this stage of our journey, we have to learn how to enjoy it. We have to learn how to be at peace, and as at peace with this stage as when the results come, because the inner state does not get changed by what's out there. You know?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest challenge has been finding out how to be happy and joyful and doing things with lightness and love at the stage when you're still grinding and you're still, you know, in the thick of it, because you're not going to feel differently when all of the external stuff comes, despite what, you know, the world tells you.
Yeah.
And despite this lie we've been told that material things make us happy, you're going to feel the exact fucking same. Whether if you're not happy in an Acura, you're not going to be happy in a Ferrari. And if you can't find joy having coffee with a friend, you're not going to find joy on a yacht with a friend. You're going to be just as miserable.
Totally. That was the banger. Last off the top, we had that coffee and yacht one.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's so well said.
Recycle.
It's something that I've thought a lot about, just living a lighter lifestyle where we can relate to this. I think when we were working corporate jobs and had structure to our lives, like everything else we optimized for fun and adventure and travel. And that stimulation brought a lot of like excitement and satisfaction. And we've still done that a bit, but it's probably been cut in half, probably more than half now. And so you have to find ways to like live lighter and appreciate those little moments. And I think that's an important exercise. Like when you remove the stimulation from your life, like being okay with the day-to-day conversations or interactions in a coffee shop or on your walk, and just like appreciating the smaller things in life and not relying on external outcomes professionally or socially or something like fame. Like that's not going to bring that same level of fulfillment that you will find within yourself if you look within.
Right.
The game that we're taught to play is like that status or that success will bring that. But I relate to you a lot in the fact that I am like, I need to sacrifice and work so hard and sacrifice everything to get to that point. And I'm okay doing that.
Right.
And I had this conversation yesterday with a friend where she asked me, she was like, like, are you worried about getting to where you want to go? And I was like, honestly, no.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned in the next 2 decades that I will figure it out in some capacity. It's probably going to look different. I don't know if off the top and at the table is going to be a fucking global podcast, but I do know that success, quote unquote success, will come in some capacity.
Right.
What I'm concerned about is what I will sacrifice with my mental health, with the joy of life in order to achieve that success.
Right.
And having the composure and the headspace to just pause and be like, this is it. This ride is the beauty of life. And you can say all these things, you can know all these quotes, you can read all these books, but it's so fucking hard sometimes to actually like interpret that knowledge. And that's why people always say like, you need to go learn. You can't just like read or like consume fucking reels online and like learn the shit. You got to go out there and then interpret stuff, pause, have like daily habits that help you pause. And by, moving through all this stuff, you can then look back on these books and these teachings and be like, yeah, like maybe I should have applied this here or there. But I completely relate to you. And there's that Aubrey Marcus quote that we've talked about when he was accepting his New York Times bestseller award, where he was like, I would give anything to go back and tell myself that I was going to be right here, right now.
Right.
He's like, I don't have any other regret besides the fact that I was pulled away from so many moments because I was thinking about getting to this place right here, right now.
Right. And just doing it with more lightness.
Yeah.
Because that is your life. The journey is your life. So if you find yourself, if you're listening and like you're like, oh, I just have to get through this stage, like it's miserable, but I'm working for this and like just gotta get through it, keep my head down. Like you just gotta check and be like, if you never get there, would you have lived a joyful life? Because the journey is 99%. And that 1%, when you finally get your outcome, maybe that'll feel great, but that only lasts for 5 to 10 minutes. That's fleeting. And then you're like, man, if only I would have enjoyed the rest of it. So don't don't throw away the 99% in order to get to that 1%. So I think that's the biggest challenge is how do we do this?
It's also
where we're-
funny too. I think it, for some reason, like grass is always greener was coming to my mind of like when you're striving and you're uncomfortable, you crave that stability and you like look back on the old job or the old relationship and you're like, oh, like I miss that so much. But then when you're in it on the other side of it, you're like, oh, well, I lived such like a free life,
Yeah.
you know? And there's beauty in both, you know? But you just have to learn how to appreciate both for what they are, because you can't have one without the other. Like you can't
Right.
have lightness without darkness.
and not obsessing over what you don't have, realizing that you're here, this is your path. Like there's no other path that you should be on, like just being present and being fulfilled and secure with what you're doing.
One challenge I've been thinking through, it's kind of in the same ballpark as what we're talking about now, is when we had Ann Malum on, she talked a lot about picking the right game and having a right to win with what she picked. And I've thought a lot about like for a business or a creative endeavor, how important is picking the right game to win, and picking a game that you can win and that you're positioned to win versus something that you truly love. I sometimes question myself and I'm like, am I best positioned to win at something like this? And yeah, that's, I guess, self-doubt, but just like negative self-talk.
And I think, do you want me to?
Yeah.
Bounce
Answer.
off,
And I'm not looking for validation or anything as it pertains
You're going to get it.
as it pertains to the podcast, but I'm more so just like I see other people and like competition is just like low frequency.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's natural and it's something that I do unfortunately like pay attention to.
Right. I'm a huge believer in that. So like I think when you're thinking about something like picking your right to win or where can I win right now, right? It's very much like there's all of these existing defined paths. Which one do I fit into now where I can win? And I think there's a couple problems with that, which is that we actually don't know what your unique expression through this podcast will become if you stick with it and you grow and you pivot and adapt at each step and you're open to flexibility and growth. What might become of that expression is going to be something that will have never existed before. You know, and so if you think that there's always room for greatness, right? And there's always room for quality, and you accept that you now isn't going to be you in a year or 2 years or 10 years down the road. You know, does it make sense to feel discouraged that when you're step zero and you're comparing yourself to someone like Chris Williamson, maybe you're like, damn, you know, this guy's been at it 10 years. I have no right to beat this guy. But it's like, yeah, but you're new, you know, and you're comparing your first inning to his ninth inning. And also, in my opinion, what you should set out to do is create something that's never been done. Maybe your unique blend of experiences and podcasts is just a new thing.
Yeah.
So I think, not that I would ever argue with Ann Malum because she's obviously accomplished more in probably the last month than I have in my nine lifetimes. So Ann, please forgive me. I think you're brilliant and I loved your episode. But I kind of think that we should set out to whatever that passion is in your heart. We need that unique expression. We don't really need you to look at these set of predefined paths and be like, where do I have the right to win right now? It's more like, let me peel back the layers. Let me find what my unique offering is and believe that if I work hard enough at that, there will be room for it.
I think it's a combination of both. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think to your point, it's like if you are willing to put in the time and stay consistent with something and get to a different place, then you're setting yourself up for success, and that could be your right to win. The fact
Right.
that you love doing something versus somebody else that might think of that same thing as like working.
Right.
When you love it, that is technically like a right to win too.
Totally.
So yeah, it's just something I've been thinking through. But I think
It's
those
a brilliant question.
I think those are really good thoughts. I loved what you said about not comparing timelines.
Yeah.
I think that is so important, man. And you see people doing extraordinary stuff when they're 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
Like, you can always reinvent yourself. And this process of reinvention, I think, is so unique and important.
Totally.
And something that I think as a society, like, we need to normalize more. Because when you don't have that, you get to the, when you're 50, 60, 70, you have that oh shit moment where you like look back on your life and you're like, you're full of regret. But if it's more normalized to like look at your life and look at your trajectory and be like, do I really resonate with where I'm going? If not, like walk back down the mountain, start at zero and like start building a new life for yourself. Like that reinvention, I think, is so unique to humanity and is something that I see being more normalized, but like I personally am like fascinated by.
Right. And I think it's kind of just a different way of framing the question. It's like you have this person and this set of things that he or she can achieve. The looking for a right to win, it's almost like putting the person in a box and being like, where do they have a right to win? And if you don't feel like you have a lot of skills, that's a pretty depressing question. You're basically just asking what's the easiest thing or the thing with the least moats or the thing that someone as, pathetic as me can win at. For example, like I am in the Hall of Fame for like bad baristas at Starbucks. Like I was garbage at my job.
I bet your ass was so bad.
Yeah, when I was in college, I was like the worst barista ever. Like I had zero right to win there. And if I was like, look, I can't even do this basic job. Not basic. I have a lot of respect for good baristas. I was literally a warmer. I put things in the microwave. I wasn't even good at that. But I think the way to look at it more is what is my unique calling in life? What's my dharma? And not thinking about right to win, not thinking about commerce, not thinking about competition. Like competition, I think, is a low vibration way to look at things. But
no, I agree. I think there's a balance. I hear what you're saying in finding that dharma, but I also think that there's in business and like true quote unquote like success. Like you do have to find your strengths and like if you're competing at that highest level, lean into those strengths. But I
think the better way is like Peter Thiel in 0 to 1 talks about like the blue ocean mindset of like, I don't want to, how do you not compete?
Yeah.
Like
blue
how
versus
do you,
red ocean.
How do you avoid competition completely?
Totally.
By offering something unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Yeah. I totally accept it's a dance,
Yeah. It's a dance.
It,
No, I think it's positioning and how you frame it.
Totally.
But I agree. I'm not going to question Peter.
Yeah. I don't want to question Ann. I don't want that beef. I don't want any of that smoke.
Eat you up.
I'm toast. Okay. Move on to wins.
Yeah.
I think we're moving at a healthy pace. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So wins. We're back. Off the top. Luke relieved himself. We're back.
We're so back.
Back in action.
In frame.
All right.
How are you feeling?
Feel great.
Are you comfortable in your nice chair?
Yeah, I feel great. It's my favorite place to be.
At the table.
At the table.
All right. You were going to tell us wins?
Wins.
Crank.
So when I say these numbers, you have to caveat it by saying it's relative to me as an artist and my experience of like building very slowly in the last year and like small numbers. So when I'm saying like, oh, big numbers on a release, like don't compare me to like Kid Leroy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's doesn't even register on the same Richter scale.
I'm going to throw you next to Cole
so, yeah,
Drake on
but
this.
I had a song that had a little moment, again, relative numbers. But it had like, 60-something thousand streams in the first like 3 weeks, which for me was big. Rain. Let's go. So it was a win, but I thought about it, and what happened is it got put on the release radar for Spotify. So it went out to all my existing listeners and boosted the streams a ton. And I realized I was like, said to myself in my head, I was like, oh, like I love the algorithm. This is great. I was like, thank God for this great algorithm that's helping me out. And I kind of thought about it and I was like, I've spent the last like year just shitting on the algorithm and complaining. And then the second it goes well, I'm like, it's pretty clever that Spotify can sense when a song has momentum and boost it up. Like, what a beautiful AI fueled algorithm.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at it and I was like, damn, like I'm such a charlatan. Like when it's going badly, we look at these things and we're like, oh, like, you know, our content isn't taking off. Like, fuck the algorithm. Like the reel sucks. Then it does something good for you and you're like, oh man, like what a great invention. What a great algorithm. And so it's just a reminder. I had that little moment. It's like learning synced in with the wind as I was like, you just got to have such a neutral approach to these things. Like they're tools. And I think the best way to behave and believe is that like they truly are objective. I spent so much time being like, oh, I'm in purgatory. Like this thing hates me. And then when it goes well, I'm like, wow, like, you know, it's working for me. And so just, it reminded me like the right mindset is like, you know, try to believe it's a meritocracy, that you have as good of a shot as anyone with these things. And when it goes well, don't get carried away. When it goes badly, don't feel like a victim and don't get down on yourself. Try to treat these things like an objective tool. And I think it's just a way healthier way to live. Because for me, every time it didn't work out, I was like, oh, you know, I'm in this punishment zone. I'm getting spanked by Instagram. Like, so just a good reminder, I thought.
Yeah. How do you stay balanced through that?
Well, I think it goes back to what we were talking about, where I think for so long I was okay with absolutely zero external validation and results, where I got so much joy just from the singing and like the music and the piano progress and stuff, that now that it's starting to get a little bit of traction, I never looked to that external traction to sustain me. The joy just came from within.
Well,
You know, like it's more that idea of if you're okay with the journey before the results come,
for sure.
that's the only way to make it to the results.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're going to get burned out.
Yeah. The that for me pulls up Rick Rubin's piece on it that we were talking about. Yeah. Where he says it's basically just like an expression that once you're released into the world, that's like the win.
Yeah. And it's none of your business.
And it's none of your business how it performs. Yeah. Yeah. Because time will catch up, you know, with consistency and quality.
Totally. And even if it doesn't, like you have to find enough meaning and purpose in the art that you'd be okay being like a Picasso.
Yeah. I was about
where
to
it's like it never happens for
Picasso.
you. Yeah. Brother Picasso. Like if, you know, you got to ask, if I did this and it never worked, I think that's one of the best questions ever is, what do you care about enough to where you would do it even if you failed? That's like the best frame for me is people say like, what would you do if you could not fail? But I think the way better frame is like, what would you do if you were guaranteed to fail?
Yeah. Who flipped that inversion? Was it Chris? Because I've heard that one before.
Yeah, I think
maybe it was you. We'll give you credit.
It was my mom. I don't know who it was, but it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like someone like Naval.
George Mack.
George Mack.
I think it was George.
Maybe it could.
Yeah.
He comes up with a lot of good shit.
Yeah, I think it was George.
It's so smart though. You know, it's like if you were guaranteed to fail, what would you find enough meaning and purpose in to still do? And then if you find that, you're good. You know.
Yeah. Really good one.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on 60.
Thanks.
And 30,000 monthlies.
Yeah, 30,000 monthly
Bro, we're
listeners.
up like 50% this month.
It's big time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a big win.
Thanks, bro.
It was extra credit last week off the top.
Yeah, off the top.
Let's go.
That was huge. We're big in Czech Republic.
Actually?
Got a little base of family out there.
How the hell is that happening?
I have no idea.
What percent of streams do you know?
It's kind of small, but it's like bigger than
Like 10%?
It's like the number one city, I think. Is
What?
Like, yeah.
That's
Prague.
awesome.
Yeah.
Prague?
Yeah.
Can you imagine a concert there?
I can. I'm coming. If you're listening from Prague to Off the Top.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. It's been a long, long ride, and it's going to continue to be a ride, but it's been so sick to see that evolution, and I'm really happy for you. It feels like, especially with some of these newer songs too that are unreleased,
Yeah.
there's so much like
Lots
momentum, and
yeah.
I'm really, really excited for you, dude.
Me too. I'm excited for you.
Boom. Okay,
What's your
so
win?
yeah, my win. I'm straying away from professional stuff. I've been getting so much energy from this training. So yeah, I'm running the New York City Marathon this year, and the long story short, I've talked about it before, but tore my knee in November of last year and kind of went through this dark cycle in the winter. And this training and this goal that I've set for myself is a reflection of the work from this year. And it's so moving, man, when you set a goal for yourself and you show up every single day. Yeah, there's just so much, I guess, what feels like purpose maybe. But aside from like the goal setting and like showing up for yourself, doing something hard, like the sport itself of running in New York and just the community and the support of like random people. Like this morning I went on a run up Park Avenue. It was like for 90 streets or something. And there's random people just on a given Saturday. It's not like a half marathon. It's not like an actual race, that are giving out water bottles or bananas and like just cheering people on for no reason. And it's such a cool part of humanity to just like look at somebody and have them give you a word of encouragement and just be like, yeah, it's just like this mutual exchange of like, we're both doing something challenging. It's me versus myself, not you versus me. And you're basically just out there with strangers, but it feels like so community oriented and like, so anyway.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. A long-winded way of saying, I think I'm getting just a lot of satisfaction from like pushing myself and thinking and envisioning what November 2nd is going to look like for myself. Like it brings chills to me, like to think about like hugging family and friends and pushing myself to try to do something really hard. And doing it for like a dope cause. So yeah, that's been a really cool, I guess, win.
That's amazing.
Quote unquote.
It is. It's so cool. Like the New York City Marathon might be like the best day of the year here.
Oh, totally.
For that reason.
Yeah. There's so much culture.
There's something when you see like a bunch of people all running, it kind of lets you forget about it. It helps you see the connectedness of everyone and that the same, that we're all the exact same, like the same spark is in you as it is in me.
Yeah.
Because when you see someone like running and there's a pain on their face and like that is literally how you feel when you run and you see the same emotion and the same struggle. And you kind of, there's a sense of togetherness. I think that comes from that. Where it's like, we're the same thing.
Yeah.
Because that's how I look and that's how I feel when I'm running a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure, man. And just like your mind gives out way before your body too.
Right.
Anyway, that was something that I've been thinking a lot about and just been very grateful to be able to experience that, live in New York, have a body that allows me to go on these runs and experience like what it feels like to be amongst this community of people. And yeah, just like a ton of gratitude.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Can't wait for that day and to see you accomplish your goals.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it.
Quick plug for anyone that donates to Luke's site, you get a reward. You get a prize.
Yeah.
You get a voice note complimenting you. So if you don't want to donate for the cause, donate for the dopamine boost.
Yeah. I got yours coming. You're in wave 2.
It's huge.
It's gonna be a goodie.
Where else can you get a reward for donating? Come on.
Yeah,
What are we doing here?
it's a lot of value. A couple $100.
Huge.
60-second.
At least. Okay. Should we keep moving with eyes on?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to go first?
I'm gonna pass the baton to you this week. I think.
Okay.
Our eyes on is a mutual eyes on. So
Let's go. Eyes on. I'm going to go with my man, Vince Lima. This dude is a artist that I've kind of watched for like a year or two, like building the right way, kind of authentically. And I've seen his journey go from like, a very small platform to he just had an Outside Lands set in San Francisco last weekend.
yes,
So
sir.
huge congratulations to Vince.
And he just got signed by
he just got
Universal.
signed.
Yeah.
Yes. And like
Let's go.
yeah. And in a world and a sea of information that tells you that you can't build things the right way, especially as an artist, that it's kind of this gamed system where you have no chance. He's kind of been like a constant motivation because I've seen him kind of do it that way. So word up to Vince. Congrats on the Outside Lands set. We're watching, we're paying attention.
He also, I will say, he does a great job getting his personality across in content.
Totally.
And is a pretty fucking funny guy.
100%.
Yeah, it's like a very like not taking himself seriously, self-deprecating humor type vibe, and it plays really, really well, and allows you into his world. So yeah, I'm a big Vince fan, and
let's go.
Maybe we'll get him at the table at some point.
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Anything else for eyes on?
Was that your eyes on as well?
Yeah.
Sick.
I was just dishing to you.
Nice.
Vince can be my eyes on as well.
Fuck yeah. Okay, should we move on? Extra credit?
Extra credit? Let's do it.
Okay. So I've got 2 quotes, extra credit,
Okay.
which one of them, I'll start out with the one that I understand, and I think it like is really well said. And it's, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you don't bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And it's a quote from Know Thyself, Andre Ducard, I think is his last name. Incredible podcast and community he's built. And that quote really hits home to me. And it's that if you don't offer what's inside of you, it will eat you up on the inside and destroy you. And these unlived dreams and this resentment will eat you up. But if you do bring forth what's inside you, even in the face of obstacles and challenges, that thing that you're bringing forth will be your path through and your compass and your light that guides you out of all the challenges. So, and it just makes so much sense to me, and it works so well that if you bring it out, it will save you. If you keep it inside, it will destroy you slowly. So I thought that was well said.
Yeah. It almost like eats away at you because you know that you need to bring it out, but you're not.
Exactly. And the vice versa. If you bring it out and if the world is all against you, but if you stay true to yourself and to that, that's your path.
And it rewards you
Exactly.
in that process.
It becomes the thing.
Yeah.
And then the second quote.
That's a great one. Shout out Andre.
Shout out Andre.
Know thyself. We love.
We are huge fans. The second quote is, wisdom tells me I am nothing. Love tells me I am everything. And between the two, my life flows.
Is that from Andre too?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And that's one
Say that
where,
one again.
That's one where I'm sitting with. I don't have as clear of an understanding of it yet, but I'm meditating on it and sitting with it. Wisdom tells me I am nothing. Love tells me I am everything. And between the two, my life flows.
Yeah. I don't know how to interpret that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that's a...
I think what it resonates with me is that they're both true.
Like you can
They're
overthink.
they're both different ways of saying the same thing. One is the logical mind, wisdom, and one is the heart mind, love. they're both saying the same truth, which is that we are all connected. We are the same consciousness. We're the same sea of consciousness. We're the universe seeing itself from different points. You could look at that as saying I'm nothing. You know, if I'm not unique and special, then if everyone's unique and special, then no one is, you know, like, or you could look at that saying I'm everything. I am the whole manifested through this one point. You know, I am this unique manifestation of the whole. And I'm the universe experiencing itself as Landon or as Luke, believing that the whole universe, its goal was to experience life through unique perspectives and through unique adventures. And I'm one of those unique adventures. So it's just a really interesting quote to sit with. And between those two, you know, your life happens.
Yeah, to me, it all almost comes off as like the wisdom can be like this overthinking type where if you lean in too hard, your mind goes to you are nothing. But if you come from a place of love, it's like there's abundance and you feel much more worthy.
Right.
I don't know if that's what it's getting at or that's just where my simple mind goes.
No, it's perfectly said. It's like, does that take away your value or does that give you your value? Understanding that you're not this separate entity cut off from the world and from everyone else, does that negate your ego and your value, or does that fill you with value?
Yeah.
And the truth is that it fills you with value, you know, because you're this divine, special thing. You're not this like external force that's combating the world. You blossomed out of the world.
Totally. That brings up the tree analogy of the spark within us all.
Yes.
That I think you put me onto a couple years ago. And when people ask me, am I religious, is like my go-to response. If you want to share that analogy.
Yeah.
With
I think like the core of the analogy is that we are all the image I like is just this massive tree, this evergreen tree with all these leaves. We're all just a leaf on this tree. And we are all a unique expression from that same tree. We're all a part of it. And when someone passes on or passes away, it's just like a leaf that falls from the tree and joins the tree again right at the soil and comes back in and manifests itself as another leaf. It's this knowledge that, you know, we're all a part of that same core. I think it just brings a lot of peace picturing that, you know?
Totally. Yeah. And leaves can look different, but the core of their essence is coming from the same thing, which is the tree. But that analogy, it's like it allows you to see the same thing in somebody else, that seed of light or spark, to me is a like great representation of spirituality or whatever you want to call it.
And I really believe that when someone passes on, their unique leaf that fell and joined the tree again at the root, they manifest again. Their soul and the kind of the entire tree benefits from their essence being here, and they live on forever. You know, it's like none of us are in a vacuum. When we move on, all of that essence just lives on in the tree. You know, it's kept forever.
I heard a different take on the analogy too, which is similar, but life is begun once the leaf falls from the tree and ends when the leaf hits the ground. But there's many different ways to interpret the in-between of start and finish, where the wind might push the leaf in a different direction. And as a leaf, you can either freak out and be like, I'm floating in a weird way, or you just embrace that ride of life and allow the wind to take you in its natural course and enjoy that frequency of life.
Totally.
Which is like, to me, saying the same thing, but also adding in a variable of like the frequency of life that you want to live on, of like, if you are more reactive to life, like life is happening at you versus life is coming from you.
Right.
yeah, it's two different ways to position. Anyway, I'm belaboring the
No,
point.
it's well said.
I thought it was like another cool take on that same concept
Yeah,
that adds like some cool components to it.
100%. And that's that equanimity is like things aren't bad, events aren't bad. It's just all, our mind and our labels.
Totally.
But if you're a leaf that's just cool with everything, it's like you're going to have a pretty great life,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all perception and just your lens on how you look at the wind taking you in a new direction.
Exactly.
Holy shit, we got a little spiritual off the top.
Great way, great way to close out. Leave people with something to think about.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I'm gonna end. We have LJ on this week off the top, episode 23, and he's a fantastic entrepreneur, great human. But he had this analogy talking about his Vipassana experience, 10-day silent meditation retreat, where consciousness can be looked at like a lake. And if you allow stillness into your life, it's like a pond without wind, and you are able to see through the depths. When there's wind and when there isn't stillness and a lot of stimulation and distraction, that's like wind on water and doesn't allow you to see below the depths. But when you allow stillness into your life, you uncover the underwater world, which is like, the most interesting part of life. And there's a lot of things to be discovered. So that was one of my favorite like shorts from LJ, and he talks a lot about his just own interpretation of life and the universe. So excited for that conversation. And
I can't wait. It's a great one.
Anything else you want to say or close on, topics we didn't discuss that you want to hit?
I think that was great. I think we covered everything. Everyone, have a fantastic week. I think we're all loving where this podcast is going. We're loving what you're building, and I can't wait for the coming episodes. It's awesome.
So I've been thinking about at the end of every off the top, just like dropping something. Like, I don't know if it's say something in the comments or give us like feedback, but I almost want to like save something special for the final like 20 seconds of the podcast as a reward for people that like listen all the way through.
Nice.
I don't know how many of them there are. Maybe that's something we'll think about for next week.
Sick. I like that idea.
But if you guys have feedback or thoughts on direction, who you want to hear from, we are all ears. But this made off the top more fun for me. So thank you for coming on, brother.
Me too.
Love you.
It was a blast. Love you, bro.
I have a feeling you'll be on a lot more of these to come.
Let's go. Twist my arm.